Okay, guys, so far we've seen a whole bunch of type 15 swords, essentially. So specialized swords, thrusting swords that even have cutting potential, 1.5 swords that border on 2 hands, let's say. But more or less, they've all fallen in one kind of aesthetic, so to speak. Today, we're looking at something very different, and this is the first of Cyrill's swords I got to use cutting. And this is a falchion, a big falchion at that. It's not out of proportion, but it's on the big side. It's a big, big sword, and it's a sword that's really honest in the sense that what it does, it shows, and it looks the part, essentially. There's no mystery to it. It's a slasher and a cutter. It will stab, because you'll see the tip is really dangerous, but it's a born cutter. So it has a name in German that Julian will mention for me because I can't remember it, but it's a very cool kind of falchion. And again, James Elmsley, if you're watching, feel free to chime in because this is your field of expertise. So let's get into the details of the sword. And by the way, if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, and perhaps if you're very generous, you could consider joining my Patreon. I have some plans for scaling up the channel, so anything helps. Thank you, and let's get to the details. Okay, this is a really cool one, and it's, I think, really cool because I cut with it, so I have the direct experience. But yeah, Julian, what do you feel is important to mention about it?
First of all, it's also one of Cyrill's first works, as far as I remember. Yeah, it's what we call here in Switzerland, Germany, like a Malchus, because in the biblical story, it was the follower of Christ with cutting the ear off.
Yes.
And this guy's name was Malchus. I'm not aware of historical stories of that, but this is how it's spoken here. Otherwise, a falchion. And I've told you before, I think that James should have talked about this, not me.
I'm sure he's watching, and he'll chime in.
So yeah, early work. It's so good how it cuts.
Yes.
I always say, if you can't cut, this cuts for you. Like, as long as you have the will to cut, it will cut.
Yes, I was a little concerned going to cut my first tatami, especially because there was a bit of a public, so there was a bunch of people watching. It was a bit of a public demo, and I didn't want to fail my first cut miserably, and I have to say it went through surprisingly well. It was, but let's say, unlike the Schweizerdegen we're looking at, this has what you see is what you handle, like what you expect when seeing it. It's not like shockingly very biased towards the tip. You feel the kind of cutting weight,
But it's not unwieldy.
No,
right?
It's very
like,
comfortable.
It feels very comfortable.
Yeah. And by the way, if you see a little bit of oxidation there,
It was not nicely cleaned yesterday.
We used it yesterday, and we're going to use it today too, so the proper cleaning will come later on today.
Yeah. Cyrill wasn't there, otherwise we wouldn't.
Would probably,
not give anymore.
But, so, is this based on, like, lots of times we see messers or falchions, and this one looks really big compared to, I think, what a lot of people expect. Instead, how does it fall in?
I have to say that these are not my type of weapon, so I need to be careful what I say, and probably I'm the least knowledgeable about these. I have the feeling that depending on what you see in depictions, especially from the High Middle Ages, it's not too long or anything. It seems to be in the range. Then there's so much variation of these extent. Are not so many anymore, right? But these reverse edge, more pointy. But this is a classic one, and I have the feeling I've seen it in maybe even the Morgan Bible in that style.
Yeah, I don't think it would be unrecognizable to anyone, honestly.
Yes. And also in that length, I mean.
What's interesting is, it seems to me like, there's a belly in the...
Here, slightly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Slightly, but...
we have noticed that also in, of course, messer types later.
Yes, exactly, yes.
That are more for the cut than for the thrust. Still, you get very thin here. and have a nice.
Oh, sure. Let's see here if we can.
You can still quite nicely stab with it.
Yeah,
Thrust.
most definitely.
Yeah, but it's the easiest cut. Whoever wants to cut the first time and is very nervous, just use this type of weapon, and it's good to go. The handle itself is just like a sword handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to cut, there's not much more to say. Exactly.
No, it's quite straightforward.
This will do the work for you. Scabbard wise,
Yeah, also, as I said, some early thing. Here he was inspired a bit of, I think, church windows
yeah,
and first floral designs. This is still a
leather shape.
leather shape. Now he makes them mostly out of metal, of course. But yeah, I'm still amazed when I see that's one of his first things he made.
Yeah, I mean, if this were the first sword or one of the first I could make, I would be very, very happy. Okay, so here we take a look at Cyrill's falchion or Malchus. So you'll see it has this lovely black scabbard and the white belt with the typical knots and wrapping. I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of the white, and that's, I think, because we'll see later. Well, let's focus on the grip first. But the pommel has this very beautiful flattened hexagonal pommel, faceted. And like other pommels, it may look like the facets are rather sharp, but it's really comfortable to hold. The sword overall is just really comfortable to hold apart from the pommel. The grip has a black leather wrapped cord, I think, so it has these kind of very thin wiring around it, let's say. And here is this instead I'm a big fan of, the carving, the tooling Cyrill did on this scabbard is absolutely lovely. Here's what I was mentioning. You see the shape is this brown leather. I think personally for me, I would have preferred the belt to match that. I think the black and white is maybe a little too contrasty for my tastes, but it's just my taste. I'm not the maker, so I have no voice in the matter. As we unsheath it, we can see, well, we already saw it earlier, but it has this really, really broad blade. I think this is the most striking thing when you look at it. As I mentioned before, it really delivers on what it promises. So when you unsheath this, you're bound to scare someone. These quillins I actually quite love. I love how they flatten a little bit and then flare out again on the kind of axis perpendicular to the blade. I like the kind of slight upturn they have, just very, very elegant, I think. So overall, you'll see it's slightly tarnished. This is just because it gets used, so it's not, you know, brand spanking new off the shelf. It's a sword that has a little bit of active life to it. So as we move up to the blade, you'll see it's quite thick in terms of the spine, but it's not perhaps as thick as you may imagine. I don't have the measurements here, but you can probably see it's not a giant slab of steel. It's an actual blade with some kind of dynamic property to it. It moves on fairly straight, although it does bulge out where I was talking about earlier. So at the kind of last third there, it's almost imperceptible. And then it has this, again, almost imperceptible clipping in the tip. There's kind of a little down curve there. The tip is mean and sharp. It's not a sword for stabbing, but if you had to use it for stabbing, it would definitely work. Here you see kind of the distal taper a little. It's not massive, but it does what it should. So it kind of elegantly transitions from a thick forte there. Here's the percussion point. That is kind of where you have the maximum width of the blade, like the bulge, let's say. Overall, very beautiful blade. I think very subtle in the sense that nothing of it is too excessive. Just beautiful. So, well, this is Cyrill's falchion or Malchus. If you kind of like it, I'm sure you can get in touch with him to have one commissioned. To your own specs, I suppose. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And well, if you like what I do, like and subscribe, please, and support me maybe on Patreon or buy me a coffee. And if not, I'll see you soon. Or even if you do, I'll see you soon in another sword video. Bye.